The following is an arrival address with His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on the 9th of August, 1973, in Paris, France.
I thank you very much for your kind invitation. Spiritual value, you have spoken very nicely about the spiritual value of living entity. Actually, we are all spiritual entities. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Dehi nasmin jatha dehi kaumarang jaubanang jara tatha dehantaram prapti dhirastatta namayati. This is in Sanskrit. It is said that within the body there is the proprietor of the body. The proprietor of the body is there within the body, but the body is changing from babyhood to childhood to boyhood, boyhood to youthhood. Similarly, aged man, the body is changing. As we are experiencing different changes of the body, similarly, when this body will no longer exist, I or you, every one of us, will accept another body. I can remember, you can remember your childhood body, your boyhood body, but those bodies are no longer existing, but I remember, you remember. Similarly, when I give up this body, I accept another body. It may not be I remembering it, but that's a fact. But the spirit soul, the proprietor of the body, is described Nitya sasatoyang nahannate hannamane sarire. The spirit soul is eternal. It does not annihilate after the destruction of the body. We have got two bodies, just like coat and shirt. The coating body is made of 5 elements: earth, water, air, fire, sky. And the subtle body is made of mind, intelligence and ego. So when the gross body is finished, we remain within the subtle body, mind, intelligence and ego. So as the air carries the power to give education to the human society, how he can get out of this entanglement of birth, death, old and disease is the best welfare activity. We can remember the history in your country. There was great Napoleon. I invite herein in this hall, some of you may come personally, talk with me about this important scientific movement, and if possible, kindly cooperate with us. I thank you very much for your giving time to hear me. Guru
The following is a class on the Bhagavad Gita as it is, 13th chapter, text number 4, given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on the 12th of August, 1973, in Paris, France.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Translation. Now please hear my brief description of this field of activity and how it is constituted, what its changes are, whence it is produced, who that knower of the field of activities is, and what his influences are.
Tat kshetram idam shariram kaunteya kshetram iti avidhiyate. So Krishna has already explained. Kshetra means idam shariram. Shariram means this body. Tat kshetram. First of all, you have to understand this body or any field of action, anywhere, the three things are there. The field of activities, the owner of the field, and the supervisor of the field. You can check and tally anywhere. So Krishna says, Kshetragam Jam Chapi Magavidhi. There are two Kshetragam and one Kshetra. One field of activity and two personalities, Kshetragam. One is to be supposed as occupier and the other is supposed to be the owner. Just like in this house, we are occupier. The house is kshetra, field of activities. The landlord is the owner and we are the occupier. Two kshetraka. This property is interest for two persons. One is the occupier and the other is the owner. Similarly, anywhere, any part of the world, anywhere you go, you will find these three things. One, the field of activities, and the other two means one occupier and one owner. If one understands these three things, and he can study everywhere these three things, then kshetra gayo jad jnanam, this knowledge to understand everywhere that there is a field of activity and two persons are interested in that field of activity. One is the owner, other is the occupier. If you study these three things only, then tad jnanam, that is knowledge. Otherwise all rascals and fools. That's all. Matang mama. This is jnana. But ask anybody at the present moment who is the owner, who is the occupier, and what is the field of activities. If you ask three things, nobody will be able to answer. That means everyone is rascal at the present, but they do not know. Kshetra gayo jad jnanam. Krishna says, this relationship between the field of action and the owner, just like in agriculture, the land is owned by the state or the king, and it is rented or occupied by somebody else. And the land is the field of action. So, Krishna is giving direction. Krishna is giving direction and the living entity is there, he is acting according to that direction. So both Krishna and the living entity are sitting in one tree that is stated in the Upanishad. The two birds are sitting in one tree. One is eating the fruit of the tree and other is simply witnessing. The witnessing bird is Krishna, and the bird who is eating the fruits of the tree, he is the living entity. The Mayavadi philosopher, they cannot distinguish between the Jiva soul, Jivatma and Paramatma. They know it, but because they are monist, to establish their theory, they say there is no two, there is one. So, Krishna says, two, one Kshetragya, the Jivatma, and the other Kshetragya, he is Krishna. The difference between the two is that the individual living entity knows only about his Kshetra or body, but the other living entity, the supreme living entity, he knows all the bodies, every. So, material nature is actually the field of activities in our conditioned life. We have Manasasthani Indriyani Prakritisthani Karshati. In the 15th chapter, you'll find it. Thus, who are these living entities? We. So Krishna says, Mamaivamsa. They are all my parts and parcels. Mamaivamsa. Just like father and the son. The father has got many sons. Similarly, we are all sons of God. Mamaivamsa. Jiva. Sanatana. Sanatana. Sanatana means eternal. It is not that we are now part and parcel and after liberation we will become one or equal, the Mayavadi theory. No, that is not. Therefore this very word is used, Sanatana, eternal. Eternally we are part and parcel. Then why they are not with you? Why they are here in this material world? Manasasthani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. They have preferred to enjoy this material world, to lord it over the material world. Therefore, mind and senses, manasasthani indriyani, with this senses and mind, karshati. Manasasthani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. Karshati means struggling. Struggle for existence. This is our position. We are part and parcel of Krishna. Now we have given up by misuse of our independence. We wanted to imitate Krishna. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. So when we become envious of Krishna, tanaham dishata kruran, the demons are envious. They want to become Krishna. Therefore you will find so many demons. They will say, why Krishna is alone God, I am God, you are God, all of us, we are God. So they are demons. So demons cannot be allowed in the spiritual world. They are sent in this material world. Just like in some places, I have heard in Europe there are many places where the gamblers and the drunkards, without any license, they can go on with their business. Is there any place like that? Huh?
Yeah.
What is the name?
Monte Carlo.
Yeah. So, we are given this place, Monte Carlo. Go on with your sinful activities without any license. Go on. Demons, they will not hear. They will not accept Krishna as the advisor, instructor. Namang duskitanam mudha prapadanti naradhava maya aparita jnana asuri bhavamasrita. The asuri bhavamasrita means demons. There are two classes of men, demon and God. Not the Godhead, God. Those who are Vaishnavas means obedient to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are also God or godly. And those who are not obedient, they are demons. This is the difference between demon and God or God. So there are two classes of men always in this material world. In the spiritual world, there are gods. godly. Krishna is the Godhead, and all living entities there, they are godly. So, in the spiritual world, there is no facility for the demons. Therefore, when Krishna likes to fight, because after many, many years not fighting, because in the spiritual world there is no fight, all obedient servant, where is the possibility of fighting? Therefore sometimes he comes here to fight with the demon. Just to get the body fit. Yes. Therefore sometimes when there are a scarcity of demons, some of the devotees, they come and become a demon, not become demon. Just Krishna wants to fight, so without demon, how Krishna will fight? Therefore they play the part of demon. So that Krishna, that means they want to serve Krishna. Krishna wants to, just like sometimes big men, they keep some wrestlers to make mock fight. Similarly, to serve Krishna, Krishna has desire to fight, so they come down and become just like a demon and fight it. Just like Hiranyakashipu. They were Jai Vijay, attendant in Vaikuntha, but Krishna wanted to fight. So therefore they came down and became demons like Hiranyakashipu, Ravan, and fought with. This is, Krishna has all the desires. Otherwise, this fighting desire where from we get, unless it is there in Krishna. There is. Janmadasya jata. Everything that we find here, that is in Krishna. Therefore, Krishna has got 12 different kinds of relationship. Akhila rasamrita. Krishna is the reservoir of all kind of rasa. Sometimes fighting is also pleasing. Therefore, the fighting spirit is there in Krishna. And we have got also that fighting spirit also in small quantity. We can fight also, but Krishna can also fight. But when Krishna fights, the opposite party means finished. When we fight, that is the fight. I may be finished or he may be finished. That is the fight. So this is the position. Therefore Krishna in the next says, Tat khetrang jacha jadrik. How these kshetra, different types of body, they cannot explain. The so-called scientists, they cannot explain why there are different types of bodies. There are 8,400,000 different types of bodies. And the human race, they are 400,000. These 400,000 are distributed all over the universe. On this planet, maybe some thousand, not 400,000. Not all of them are here. Here also, in the human forms, we find so many differences. The Europeans, the Americans, the Africans, the Indians, the Chinese, different forms. That also can be counted, maybe 100, 200 different types of forms of human. But there are 400,000. 400,000. That is the human race. And 8 million other forms. 8 million. The aquatics, the trees, the plants, the grass, and the insects. We have experienced how many different types of insects are there in Mayapur. During night, so many different types of insects come to the fire, to the light. This is another illusion. These insects, they are coming, being attracted by the beauty of the light. The electric light, it is not open. Otherwise, these insects come in the burning fire and die. Beauty, captivated by the beauty of the fire. So actually it is going on. We are attracted by the beauty of Maya, and exactly we are falling to the fire and die. So there are so many instructions. Even if you study simply these 8,400,000 different kinds of. So how to study them? Krishna is explaining. Tat Kshetram. Tat Kshetram means that kind of body. There are so many. Tat Kshetram Jatcha Jadri. How they have attained different types of body. The soul is there. Soul, we have already explained, is the Kshetrajna. But except the followers of Vedic knowledge, nobody knows. Just like the Christian people, they say there is no soul of the animals. Have you not? Kshetrajna. Soul is there everywhere, but they have got their different types of body. Therefore Krishna says, Tat Kshetrang Jatcha Jadriksha. How they have got different. Krishna has already explained in the 15th chapter. They are all Krishna's part and parcel. In another place Krishna says, Sarvo Jonishu Kaunteya Sambhavanti Murtaya Tasang Mahajjani Brahma Aham Bija Pradapika. He is the seed-giving Father. Therefore all living entities are Krishna's part and parcel. It is foolishness to say that other living entities, other than the human being, they have no soul. It is foolishness. They have got soul. I mean, even the ant has got soul, even the microbe has got soul, even the germ has got soul, everyone has got soul. But they have got different types of body, outward. Therefore Krishna says, Jatcha Jadriksha, how they have got different types of body. So these subject matters are very subtle things, but there is no facility for studying this subject matter in the university or any educational institution. Therefore, they are called murhas. They do not understand what is God. Who was telling me, some Bengali professor came here and he said, I am agnostic. So, mostly the so-called educated sects are agnostic. They do not believe in God. They do not believe in the soul. And still they are passing on as education is learned, scholar, professor. This is the teaching. Therefore one should learn from Krishna. This education system at the present moment, you cannot learn anything positively. They are all vague. Here Krishna says, try to understand each and every body. Tat Kshetra. Why one soul has got a godly body and one soul has got a dog body, one soul has got very beautiful body, another soul has got very ugly body. So one has got nails and jaws, one has very nice, beautiful hand, fingers. There are varieties. Krishna says that Sacha Jujat Prabhavascha. Prabhavascha. And each body has got a different type of influence. Each type of body. This is God's creation. There are innumerable planets. Each planet has got a different atmosphere. Just like we have got experience within this planet. Europe has got another atmosphere, India has got another atmosphere. Similarly, all the planets, they are of different atmosphere. And each and every planet, there are varieties of living entities. Just imagine, the living entities are 8,400,000 species. So even if you divide so many thousands and hundreds, still 8 million. This is God's creation. God's creation means all these living entities, they want to enjoy this material world in a different capacity, and God has given the facility. Yes, he can enjoy. He can enjoy. He is giving facility. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishta. He is sitting, God is so kind. Krishna is so kind. Just like you have seen the master taking his dog, the dog is allowed to do whatever he likes, the master waits. The real business of the dog is to obey the master's order. But the master gives the dog facility. Yes, you can walk, you can run, you can pass urine, stool, I'll wait. As the master gives facility, similarly, Krishna is so kind, Krishna is so affectionate that we have come to enjoy this material world. He is giving us the facility, just like the master is giving facility to the dog. Krishna is so kind. But Krishna wants that every living entity should be obedient to Krishna. Then that is Krishna's enjoyment. He is so kind that he is asking every living entity, especially the human being, Patram puspam phalam tuyam jumi bhakta prajachati. He is self-sufficient, he is not hungry, he is supplying necessities, food to every living entity. Still he is hankering for a little flower, little fruit from this living entity. Please give me. So this is the position. Patram puspam phalam soyam jomi bhaktya prajachati. Tadaham asnami. If you kindly give me a little flower, a little fruit, little water, with faith and love, I will eat. Krishna is so kind. And he is simply trying to turn the face of the living entity towards him. Therefore he is always with us. So this is another. Krishna has come here in this temple to accept your offerings so that you may again go back to home, back to God. That is Krishna's desire. He is so kind. In whatever way possible, he is trying to get us back to home, back to God. That is Krishna's mission. He is coming himself as Krishna, the Supreme Personality. He is coming himself as the devotee, Lord Chaitanya. He came, Krishna, personally, and asked everyone, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam saranam vaja. Why you are suffering here? Give up all this engagement. Because here whatever you do, you simply create entanglement and suffer. That's all. You cannot be free to do anything. That is not possible. So Krishna therefore says that don't bother by manufacturing your ways of thinking. Just like yesterday one boy and girl, he's poet. I asked him, what poetry you write? What is the subject matter? No subject matter. No subject matter. This is pagal. Pagal means mad. পিশাচি পাইলে যেন মতিচ্ছন্ন হয়, মায়াগ্রস্ত জীবের সেই দশা উপজা. Pisachi, ghost, ghostly haunted. A person, when he becomes ghostly haunted, he speaks all kinds of nonsense. So mayagrasta jiver sei dasha bola. Those who have come to this material world under the influence of the external energy of Krishna, Maya, they are all mad. It is not Shastra, it is the opinion of medical science also. The medical science. In India, there was a case, a murderer. So his pleader, lawyer, pleaded that this man, when committed this murder, he was insane. So the judge called for the civil surgeon to examine him whether he has got such tendency, insanity. So he gave evidence, my lord. So far my knowledge concerned, I have tested so many men. Everyone is insane. It is a question of degree. Now, if you consider that you are insane, that is your business, to punish him or not punish him. But so far my knowledge is concerned, I have studied so many men and I have found they are all insane. Actually, that is the position. What does it mean, insanity? When his brain is not acting nicely, that is insanity. So anyone who is in this material world, they are against God consciousness. That is the sign of insanity. He is under the strict regulation of God. Still he defies. There is no God. There is no God. I am God. This is insanity. Pisachi paile janamati chanda. So how these different types of insanity is visible, that we will explain Krishna. Tat kshetrang jatcha jadrikcha. Not one kind of body or one kind of insanity. Different types of insanity. Jatcha jadrikcha. Jad vikari. This vikari means transformation. Everyone's brain is vikari, not in order. Jad vikari, jatascha jad. How such kind of transformation, vikari, this derangement has taken place. Sacha jujat prabhavascha, and prabhava. Everyone, every living entity has got a particular type of prabhava. Just like a small bird, immediately he can fly in the sky. And although we are very intelligent, if I want and if you want to fly in the sky, no, you cannot. Although he is supposed to be very intelligent scientist, but I cannot fly. But a small bird will immediately fly. That is his prabhava. You must have to admit that this is his special power. Similarly, a vulture, he goes 4 miles up and his eyes are very small. But from the 4 miles away, he will find out where there is a dead body. Immediately jump over. And we have got so many big eyes. But we cannot say after this spectacle required. You cannot see him 1 feet. So this is his prabhava, influence. A vulture, most but a nasty bird, still it has got so much influence that we cannot compete with. So you will find in every creature, every living entity, a special prerogative than the others. Than the others. So with the body, just like the hog can eat stool very nicely, very nicely. But although we say that everything is food, we can eat, that you eat this stool, you cannot eat. So he has got the influence that he can eat the stool very nicely. Therefore, we should not consider that all living entities are of the same status. They have a different status. You cannot say because the other living entity is eating something abominable, therefore I can also eat. It is eatable. No, you cannot do that. If you eat, you will be diseased. Therefore it is called, one man's food is another man's poison. Prabhavas. One can eat anything, not anything. Nobody can eat anything. It's allotted food. In the living entities lower than the human being, they follow the nature's way, the allotted food. That is, the tiger eats blood and flesh. If you offer him nice fruit, nice sweet rice, he will not eat. Even the dog, they do not like the sweet rice or nice kachori and sangara. Yeah, he will eat seed. They cannot eat. If they eat, they will fall disease. In Bengal it says, kukurer pete ghi khay na. Too much fatty things if you give to the dog, He will not be able to digest. So similarly, we are also human beings. We have got special food, a special food. Therefore Krishna says, Krishna's prasadam will be taken by whom? By the human being. Although it can be offered to any living entity. But worship of Krishna is meant for the human being. Therefore, a devotee will take the remnants of foodstuff offered to Krishna. Therefore Krishna says, Patram puspam phalam toyam yogi bhakta. Krishna, as the Supreme Lord, he can eat anything. He can eat anything because he is all powerful, omnipotent. But we cannot do that. Therefore Krishna says, you give me this vegetable, fruit, grains, milk, and I will take. Therefore indirectly it is said, these are the foodstuff of the human being, not any other things. You cannot say that this is also eatable, therefore I shall eat. Then you become hog. Those who have no discrimination of eating, they are going to be hog. Next slide. Therefore Krishna says, Jad vikari jataschaja. How one becomes a hog, dog, cat, or demigod, or Indra, or Brahma, let it be explained. You are given the facility of human being, and if you misuse your facilities, then according to your mental condition, you will be offered the next body. Jang jang vapi smaran loki tajatanti kalevaram, you will find. Therefore, give up doggish mentality. That is Krishna consciousness. Train up your mind, godly mentality. Then you will be transferred. Next slide. Back to home, back to home. That is equal. This Krishna consciousness movement is training the people for being promoted to the highest standard of life. This Krishna consciousness movement is so important. We are giving chance to the people not to become next life cats and dogs and vultures, but associate of Krishna, to become a coward boy to play with Krishna, or gopi to dance with Krishna. This much facilities we are giving to give. So everyone should consider how much welfare movement is this Krishna consciousness movement, and they should follow the instruction of Krishna and the acharyas and make their life successful. Thank you very much. हरिधामसु तेषु तेषु ते प्रभाव निचया विहिताश्चर्य गोलोको नामनि निज धामनि तले ततश्च देवी महेश हरिधामसु तेषु तेषु ते प्रभाव निचया विहिताश्चर्येन गोविंदमादि पुरुषं तमहं गता गोलोको नामनि निज धामनि. There is a planet in the spiritual world. The material world, you can see the material sky, limit of the sky, the horizon, but you are not able to reach even the moon planet, the nearest planet. But within this universe, within this horizon, there are innumerable planets. Asesha, Jasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanna Koti, Kotishu Aseshu Vasudhadi Vibhuti Bhinnam. By the shining effulgence from the body of Krishna, that is called Brahma Jyoti. Within that Brahma Jyoti or effulgence, there are innumerable universes. Ananta Koti. Jasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanna Koti. Koti means innumerable. One million, 10 million is equal to 1 lakh. As such, 100 lakhs makes a koti. So, actually we see there are innumerable planets. But beyond this creation, this is material creation, 1/4 manifestation, 1/4 manifestation of God's creation, this material world. This is also only one universe. There are innumerable universes clustered together. And beyond this clustering of universes, there is another sky, which is called Parabhom, or spiritual sky. If you want to go there, then you have to penetrate through the material coverings, earth, water, fire, air, like that. Each layer so big, and the next layer is 10 times more than the first layer. In this way, there are several layers. So penetrating through that several layers, you reach the spiritual sky. And after reaching the spiritual sky, there are so many Vaikuntha planets, spiritual planets. So that is summarized, Goloko namni nijadhamni tale chatasya. The topmost planet is called Goloka, or Krishna Loka. Go means cows. Krishna is very much fond of cows. Therefore, that planet is called also Goloka, the planet full of cows. We have recited Brahma Samhita today. Chintamani prakara sadmasu kalpa vrikha lakha britesu surabhi ravipalayantam. Krishna is engaged in tending cows. He is very much fond of cows. Surabhi, they are not ordinary cows. In the spiritual world, everything is spiritual. So, there is a planet, Golokana. So, that is the highest planet. Goloko namni nijadhamni, that is the personal abode. Goloko namni nijadhamni tale chatasya. Under that planet, there are other planetary systems. They are called Devi Dhama, Mahesha Dhama, Hari Dhama. Now this universe, this material world is called Devi Dham. Devi Dham. It is under the control of the material energy. Sisti sthiti pralaya sadhana shakti reka chayeva jasya bhuvanani vibhakti durga. This energy is also personified called Durga Devi. So, above this planetary system, there is Mahesha Dham. Mahesha Dham, in the border between spiritual sky and material sky. Above that, there are Haridham, the Vaikuntha planets, where Narayana, in various forms, he is predominating. And above all of them, there is Goloka Dham, or Krishna's Dham. The picture we have given in Srimad Bhagavatam. So, Goloka namni nijadhamni tale chatasya devi mahesh haridham sute sute tete prabhav nichaya vihitasya jena. Each planetary system has got specific atmosphere. Everything is specific. That is done, that is created by the Supreme Personality of God. So, In this way, Krishna is there at the topmost Goloka Dham. But still, Goloka Dhamni Nivasati, although he is living there, Akhilatma Bhuta, he is everywhere. He is everywhere. That is Krishna. It's like we are sitting in this hall. We are not in our apartment, house. Krishna is not like that. He is in the Golokanamni Nijadhamni, in his own planet. He is engaged in his occupation. Somewhere he is tending cows, somewhere he is dancing with the gopis. He is going on with his enjoying occupations. But still, he is everywhere. Golokanamni, Golokaiva Nivasati. Nivasati means, although he is living there, Akhilatma Bhuta. He is everywhere. He is within your heart. Ishara Sarvabhutanam Riddesha Arjuna Tishta. He is within our heart. Not only within the heart, he is within the atoms. Ekapasau rachayatam jagadanna koti jachakti rasti jagadanna chayajadantam annantarastham paramanu chayantarastham. His one plenary portion has entered this material world as Garbhodaksai Vishnu. From Garbhodaksai Vishnu, there is expansion of Khirodaksai Vishnu. That Khirodaksai Vishnu has entered every atom. Ekapasura chetam jagadanna koti jachakti rasti jagadanna chayajada. So, Krishna is everywhere. And if you are devotee, then you can catch him. This is the secret. Just like electricity is everywhere, electrons. One who can tackle the electrons, they can talk without any direct connection by electronic method, thousand miles away. Just like radio message, television message. So, similarly, Krishna is also everywhere. Just like the waves of sound wave is going on. As soon as I produce one sound, immediately within a second, this sound goes round the earth 7 times. If a material thing has got so much power, just think how much power God has got. So he is everywhere. Simply you have to catch him. And he is also ready for being caught. Yes. If somebody wants to catch him, suppose you are a devotee, if you want to catch him, he comes forward 10 times than your desire. He is so kind. Therefore, we have to simply receive him. So this deity worship in the temple means worshipping Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God. He is Akhilatma Bhuta, where himself finding is everywhere. Therefore, he has very kindly accepted to assume a form which you can handle. This form of Krishna, the atheist will say that here is a form made of marble. How is that? They are worshipping God, Krishna. That is atheist view. But from the Shastra you understand, Krishna, if he is within the atom, why not within the marble? It is simply understanding, not only within, the marble itself is also Krishna. Because in the Bhagavad Gita, we understand Bhumi, Rapa, Anala, Vayu, Kham, Mana, Buddhi, Riva. These material elements, earth, water, fire, air, they are Krishna's energy. Krishna says, Bhinna me Pakiti Astadha. They are my energies, separated energy. So, even if you consider that here is not Krishna but a marble, no, that marble is also Krishna. Marble is also, and Krishna is being omnipotent. Even for your logical argument, even if you say that this is a marble statue, still Krishna is so powerful, omnipotent, that he can accept your service even through this marble. Actually it is not marble. Or from spiritual vision, everything being Krishna, so Krishna can accept your service even through the marble, even through the water, even through the fire. Why not? Energy. Just like if you come to the sunshine, energy of sun, you immediately touch the sun glow. Is it not? Because the beams are coming from the sun glow, so as soon as you touch the sunshine, sun beam, you touch the sun immediately. And there are yogis who can reach the sun planet through the beams of sun. Because the spirit soul is very, very small, smaller than the atom. Esagra satubhagasya satubha kalpitasya. And the spirit soul can go everywhere. And it is the speed of spirit soul is greater than the mind. You have got experience of the speed of the mind. In a second, you can go many thousands of miles. Mind. Suppose you are sitting here, those who are Indians, immediately within a second, one can reach Calcutta, Bombay, immediately, without even less than a second's time. The mind speed you can imagine, and finer than the mind is the spirit soul. So how much speedy is the spirit soul, that we have to know from the Shastras. Shastra Janita, everything. Therefore, do not think that we have installed a marble statue. The rascals will say they are heathens. No, we are worshipping Krishna personally. Krishna personally, Krishna has kindly assumed this form just because we cannot see Krishna, the gigantic Krishna. Art Krishna is everywhere. Atasya Krishna namadi navaved grayam indriya. Our imperfect senses cannot see Krishna immediately. But Krishna is so kind. As we can see stone, we can see wood, we can see earth, we can see water, we can see color. Therefore, Krishna comes before us, just quite suitable for our vision. But he is Krishna. So this deity worship, those who are in charge of deity worship, they never should think that here is a statue. No, here is Krishna. The honor, the respect, the samram means with great honor, you must always think that here is Krishna personally. Don't think that it is a statue. Krishna personally. So you should honor and think also and be cautious so that you may not commit offense. Krishna worship, if you neglect the process then it will be offensive. There are 64 kinds of offenses. You have seen it in the nectar of devotion. So, not very much. You should be very much clean. First thing is, cleanliness is next to godliness. Very much clean, rise early in the morning, take your bath, and perform Mangalarati, then chant Hare Krishna mantra, then read scriptures. In this way, remain 24 hours engaged in Krishna's service. This is the purpose of installing deity. Not that after a few days you think it is a burden. No, then it will be great offense. It is not burden, it is a great opportunity to serve Krishna. As the gopis are serving in Goloka Vrindavan, Krishna is so kind, he has come here to accept your service in a manner in which you can handle it. You can raise Krishna, you can offer prasadam, you can chant his glory. In this way, always remain engaged in Krishna consciousness, and gradually you will find how you are advancing in spiritual life. Thank you very much. Sons and daughters, I am so much obliged to you that you have become so enthusiastic for offering Vyas Puja. I try to understand, several times you have explained why this function is called Vyas Puja. I have already explained in the morning. This offering, worshipping, one may think that this man is teaching his disciple man worshipping, anthropomorphism. But it is not man worshipping. One should not misunderstand. Vyasdev is the original spiritual master. Original spiritual master is Krishna. From Krishna, Brahma was initiated, Lord Brahma. Tene Brahma Rida Adikavaye Mayantija Suraya. It is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam that when Brahma was created, it was all darkness within the universe. He could not understand what is the purpose of his becoming there. Then he engaged himself in tapasya, and he was initiated from within. Krishna is within everyone. Ishara sarvabhutanam riddesha arjuna tisthati. So he is called Chaitya Guru, means Guru within the heart. And when Krishna understands, because Krishna knows everything, whatever we are willing, whatever we are doing, he is the Paramatma, he is sitting within our heart as witness. Anumanta upadrashta. Upadrashta means simply observing what we are doing and what we are desiring. So, as we desire, Krishna is very kind, he gives us facility. We have many times explained. Therefore we have got varieties of body to enjoy. this material world. So, when Krishna sees, when Krishna sees that a living entity is very anxious to understand him or to revive his Krishna consciousness, then Krishna gives him all opportunity, especially by manifesting himself as the spiritual master. Antarbhi. The spiritual master is therefore Krishna's manifestation, Krishna's mercy manifestation to help a person to develop his Krishna consciousness. From within, he is helping. Therefore he is called Chaitya Guru. And from without, he sends his representative to help how to become advanced in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, to advance in Krishna consciousness, we require two kinds of help. One from Krishna and another from the spiritual master. It is stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. You'll be glad now that Chaitanya Charitamrita is now published. Yes. This is the our Panditji Pradyumna, he has presented. Actually, he has worked for it. Although I have translated, but I am very much indebted to him that he very carefully edits and makes the thing very perfect. So, now we have got translation of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and Sanskrit portion, because mostly there is Sanskrit portion. So, so my beloved disciple, Pradyumna, I call him Pandit Mahasai, because he is actually doing the Pandit's work. So he edits and he works very hard. Not only that, his wife is also helps in this connection. So, actually, that is wanted. Kiba vipra kiba sudra nasikane no. Jai Krishna tattvavitta sai guru. I am sometimes criticized by my god brothers that I have become a marriage maker, because a sannyasi does not take part in a marriage ceremony, but I get my disciples married. This is also unique in the history. So they criticize me that I have become a marriage maker. But they do not know why I take this risk. I have got many disciples, they are married couples, but all of them, husband and wife, they are helping this movement. Here is Bhagavan Das, he is also married man, children. So actually, married couples should be Paramhamsa. Paramhamsa means the topmost stage of sannyasi. Paramhamsa. The sannyasi has got 4 stages. Kutichak, Bahudak, Paribrajaka and Paramhamsa. A sannyasi, in the beginning, he is supposed to make a small cottage just on the border of the village, does not go home, but his necessities are supplied by his home, but he does not go home. This is called Kuticha. Then, gradually, when he is practiced, he begs from home to home. He does not anymore depend on his own home. That is called Bahudak. Bahudak means collecting his necessity from many places. And then, as he becomes practiced, he becomes Paribrajaka. He goes from place to place, village to village, preaching the message of Krishna. As our Sriman Revati Nandan Maharaj is doing, he has now very nice bust. All others also doing, the Grihasthas are also doing, because our only business is Krishna. It doesn't matter whether it Grihastha or Manaprastha or Sannyasi, it doesn't matter. So when he preaches all over the world, and that is called Paribrajaka. And when his experience, he executes the word by his assistant, that is called Paramahamsa. So Grihasthas are supposed to be Paramahamsa. Just like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was Grihastha, magistrate, government servant. But he has worked so much for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in writing books, not only writing books, but also begetting a child like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, my spiritual master. So, that is Grihastha. They should produce children like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. Because we want big stalwart men to preach this Krishna consciousness movement. So everyone has got duty in Krishna consciousness, and this duty is taught by Krishna and the spiritual master. Guru Krishna kripa pai bhakti lata bhi. Ei rupe brahmanda bhamite kono bhagavan ji. That anyone who is coming to Krishna consciousness is not ordinarily living being. Anyone who is connected with our movement is not ordinary living being. Actually, he is liberated soul. And I am very much hopeful that my disciples who are now participating in today, even if I die, my movements will not stop. I am very much hopeful. Yes. All these nice boys and girls who have taken so seriously, Bhaktivinoda Thakur wanted that European and American people may understand the philosophy of Chaitanya cult and take part in it. That was his desire. My Guru Maharaj, His Divine Grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, he also attempted to send his disciples to preach Chaitanya cult in the Western world. One of them, he advised me also. First meeting, perhaps you know, he asked me to preach. So, at that time, I was a young man, only 25 years old, and I was also householder. So I should have joined and executed his desire immediately, but due to my ill luck, I could not immediately execute his order. But it was in my heart that it is to be done. So better late than never, I executed his order at the age of 70 years, not at the age of 25 years. So actually I wasted so much time. I can understand that. From the message was there when I was 25 years old, but I began at the age of 70 years, but I did not forget the message. Otherwise how could I do? That is a fact. I was simply finding out the opportunity how to do it. So anyway, although I began very late at the age of 70 years, so by the help of my disciples, this movement is gaining ground and is spreading all over the world. So therefore I have to thank you. It is all due to you. It is not my credit, but it is your credit that you are helping me in executing the order of my Guru Maharaj. So this movement, Krishna consciousness movement, that you already know that it is the most essential, most important movement to the human society. Last night, the ambassador of India, His Excellency Rashagotra, he was present here. He also appreciated that this movement is very important movement, and he was very pleased that I have done so much. So this movement will go on. Nobody can stop. So this Vyas Puja ceremony means to offer our thanks to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because He is the original Guru. As we receive this message through parampara system, from Krishna to Brahma, Brahma to Narad, Narad to Vyasdev, Vyasdev to Madhacharya, in this way, Madhavendra Puri, then Ishwar Puri, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then 6 Goswamis, then others, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Jagannath Das Babaji, Gaur Krishna Das Babaji Maharaj, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, then we have taken, so this, as we have come to this Krishna consciousness understanding through this long parampara, similarly, in the Vyas Puja ceremony, whatever respect, honor and presentation you give, that goes to Krishna through that parampara from down. As it is received through the parampara system. So similarly, your offerings also goes through this parampara system to the Supreme. The connection. Our system is Gopi Bhaktu Pado Kamalayo Daso Dasanu Dasa. It is sometimes called bureaucracy. If you apply something, at least in India, to the president, you will have to submit to the local collector. The collector will submit to somebody else, then secretary will go, then to the president. So our system is that. So it is not that I am training my disciples to worship me, man worship, and getting some honor from them for nothing. No, it is not that. Whatever honor, whatever respect, whatever presentation you are giving to your spiritual master, it will go to Krishna by parampara system. This is Vyas Puja. Therefore it is called Vyas Puja. Vyas Puja means Vyasdev is the original Guru. After Brahma, Narad, then Vyas. And Vyas is original Guru because from his literature we understand spiritual knowledge. All these literatures, whatever we have produced, they are actually originally from Vyasdev. The four Vedas, Brahma Sutra, Upanishad, Puranas, they are called Vedic literature. And whatever is written with the conclusion of this Vedic literature, that is also Vedic literature. Just like our books, all our books, they are not mental speculation. Whatever I have learned from my Guru Maharaj, I am presenting. That's all. It is not mental speculation. This philosophy, that philosophy. We kick out all this. Unless we get the knowledge from the authorized source, we don't accept. Because how we can accept? A so-called philosopher, scientist, according to, why according? Everyone can understand that however great philosopher, scientist one may be, he is imperfect. He is imperfect. Every man, I have several times recited this example that in our country Gandhi was very big politician, you know, Mahatma Gandhi. He committed so many mistakes. At last he committed such a great mistake that he was killed. That's a long history. So, even a great person like Mahatma Gandhi, he commits mistake. Therefore, the Shastra says, any conditioned soul, he must commit mistake. However great he may be, in the estimation of fools and rascals. Sabai bir baraha ustra. He must commit mistake, he must be illusioned, his propensity is to cheat, and at the end, all the senses are imperfect. We have several times described. So much imperfectness, how we can give perfect knowledge? Therefore, a so-called philosopher, scientist knowledge is always imperfect. The perfect knowledge can be received through these parampara systems. From Krishna, Krishna to Brahma, Brahma to Narad, Narad to Vyas, Vyas to Madhacharya, in this way, from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 6 Goswamis, then our Guru Maharaj, in this way. And our business is just to present whatever we have heard. This is very important point. And because we do not speculate mentally, just like so many Swamis come from India, they make their own presentation by speculation. So whatever little success I have got, it is due to this process that I do not present anything which is created by me. That is the secret of success. All these rascals, I say, declaring this, all these rascals come, they manufacture. A spiritual thing cannot be manufactured, as God cannot be manufactured. God is always God, and the words of God is also God. If we present as it is, then it will be effective. That is said in the Shastra. Satang prasangat mama bija sangvida bhavanti ritkannana sayana katha tajjosanat asu apavarka vartmani sadhya bhakti rati ranukramishati. Everything is there. Sadam prasangat, from a bona fide spiritual master, you receive knowledge because he will present as he has received from his spiritual master. He will not adulterate or manufacture something. That is the bona fide spiritual master. And that is very easy. To become spiritual master is not very difficult thing. You will have to become spiritual master. You, all my disciples, everyone should become spiritual master. It is not difficult. It is difficult when you manufacture something. But if you simply present whatever you have heard from your spiritual master, it is very easy. If you want to become over-intelligent, to present something, to interpret something, whatever you have heard from a spiritual master, you can make some further addition, alteration, then you will spoil whole thing. Then you will spoil something. Don't make addition or alteration. Simply present as it is. Therefore we have begun in Bhagavad Gita as it is. Don't try to become over-spiritual master. Then you will spoil. Remain always a servant of your spiritual master and present the thing as you have heard. You will be spiritual master. This is it. You should know it. Don't try to become over-intelligent. That will spoil. Evam parampara praptam imam rajasayo vidu. This is the... So, you can stop. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Amar Aggai Guru Haiya Taro Ei Desh Jare Dakho Tare Kaho Krishna Upadesh. Let's see, it is very nice. You'll find in Chaitanya Charitamrita, now it is published. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, he is the Supreme Lord, Krishna. He says, Amar Aggai, whatever I say, Amar Aggai, by my order, you become a spiritual master. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, one may be very illiterate, no education, no scholarship, may not be born in Brahman family, or may not be a sannyasi. There are so many qualifications, but one may not have all these qualifications. He may be rascal number one, but still he can become spiritual master. How? Amar Agga. As Krishna says, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, if you follow, then you become spiritual. One may be rascal number one from material estimation, but if he simply, strictly follows whatever is said by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or his representative spiritual master, then he becomes a guru. So it is not very difficult. One may not think that I am not qualified to become guru. No, you are qualified. If you follow strictly the parampara system, then you are qualified. That's all. Amar Aggai Guru. And what is the difficulty? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, don't feel any difficulty, because as spiritual master, what you have to do, Jare dakho tare kaho Krishna upadesh. Whomever you meet, you simply speak to him the instruction which Krishna gives. What Krishna instruction gives, that is also very easy. What is that? Krishna says, Manmana bhava mad bhakta mad jaji mang namaskuru. Krishna says, just become mine. Devotee, always think of me, offer me obeisances, and worship me. So here is Krishna. If you simply think here is Krishna Radha Krishna deity, you may be full number, rascal number one. That doesn't matter. But you are getting impression of this Radha Krishna. Think of, how nicely Krishna is decorated. This much. No erudite scholarship. Simply, Krishna says, Manmana bhava mad bhakta. Here is deity, worship him nicely as it is. A regulated principle. Even if you are not worshipping, simply think of Krishna. Here is Radha Krishna. Impression. So what is the difficult? As soon as you see Radha Krishna, you get some impression. Think of that impression. Where is the difficult? Manmana bhava mad bhakta. Worship me. If you have got opportunity, worship. If you are initiated, you worship here, or you install deity at home, as our Khirodok Sahib Prabhu is doing. Everyone can do it. What is the difficult? Now ask him how he is happy. The whole family is happy. Not only he, but his wife, his children, everyone is happy. Practical. Manmana bhava mad bhakta mad jaji mang namaskuru. And if you cannot do anything, simply come and offer your obeisances. My dear Lord Krishna, I am so poor, so unfortunate, I cannot do all these things, but I offer my humble obeisances unto your lotus. That much also. If you do this, you become spiritual. So, simply by accepting this principle, and even if you are not learned, illiterate, you are hearing so much from Bhagavad Gita, you simply repeat that. Simply repeat that. There is no question of becoming very learned scholar. God has given you this ear. Even if you are blind, you cannot read, you can hear. So Krishna Upadesh, what is Krishna? This is Krishna Upadesh. And at last Krishna says, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam saranam. So if you simply preach this cult, my dear friend, my dear brother, you surrender to Krishna, you become spiritual. You become spiritual master. You go door to door. No other talks. Simply say, my dear friend, you are very nice, you are very learned. That was adopted by Prabhupada Saraswati. Dante nidhaya tinakam padayo nipatya kakusatam kritvacha aham bruvimi. He sadhava sagalameva vihaya dura chaitanya chanda charane kurutanuraga. The meaning is, the preaching, very easy. Dante nidhayatinakam. According to Indian system, if you put a grass on your mouth, it is a sign of that you have become very humble. If you approach a person with a grass in your mouth, he will immediately know that you are coming there with very, very great humbleness. Therefore, Dante Nidhaya, this was the system. Dante Nidhaya Tunakam, and touching his feet. Immediately touch his feet. Immediately, even if he is enemy, he will be a friend. even if he is your enemy. It is so nice process. Take a grass on your mouth and immediately fall on his feet, padaya nipatta, and with folded hands, much flattering, Dante nidhayatinakang padayo nipatta, kakusatang krityacha, all flattering words, aham bravi. So immediately he will agree, yes, what you say I will hear. I will hear. Immediately convert to hear you at least. This just see how perfect process is. Then what is your purpose, sir? Why you are becoming so humble, me? And now say, yes, sir, I will say. What is that? Hey sadhava, you are a great sadhava. Although he is maybe rascal number one, still you call him. Hey sadhava. Yes, I am sadhu. Yes. What is your proposal? Now kindly forget all nonsense whatever you learned. That's all. I am flattering you because I want that you forget everything, all these yogis and these and that and meditation. Please kick out all. Then what I have to say? Chaitanya Chanda Charane Kurutanuragam. Just adhere yourself to the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. Then he becomes free. That's all. So I hope that all of you, men, women, boys and girls, become spiritual masters and follow this principle. Spiritual masters simply, sincerely follow the principles and speak to the general public. Then Krishna immediately becomes your favorite. Krishna does not become your favorite, you become Krishna's favorite. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Nachatasmat manusheshu kaschit me priyakritam. One who is doing this humble service of preaching what? Krishna consciousness, nobody is dearer than him to me. So if you want to become recognized by Krishna very quickly, you take up this process of becoming spiritual master, present the Bhagavad Gita as it is, your life is perfect. Thank you very much. Vandeham Sri Guru.
The following is a lecture given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on the 6th of September 1973 in Stockholm, Sweden.
It takes time. I have cited about a dozen only. Let me try to explain some of them, because I have already taken much time. So, one verse in this you find, Advaita Achyute Anadi Ananta Rupam Adyang Purana Purusham Navajaubanancha Vedeshu Dullava Adullava Atma Bhakto Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajani. The Lord is one, without a second, Advaita. Achyuta, the Lord never falls down. The distinction between Lord and ourselves. We are also eternal, living entities. The Lord is also eternal. He is also a living entity, a person, just like us. But his name is Achyuta. He never falls from his position. But we, living entities, sometimes we fall down. That's our material, conditional life. This is our fall down. Therefore he is called Advaita Achyuta Anadi. And he has no beginning. He is the beginning of everything. The creation is from him, but he has no creator. So Advaita Achyuta Anadi Ananta Rupa, and he has got multi-forms. He can expand himself. The one expansion is that Ishara Sarvabhutanam Riddeshe Arjuna Tishtati. He has expanded himself to live with you within your heart. Ishara Sarvabhutanam. Not only that, another place it is described, Eka Pasu Rachayatun Jagadanda Koti. One portion of the Lord that is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Ekamshena Sthito Jagat. Jagat means this material world. That is being maintained by one of his plenary portion, which is called Paramatma, or Garbhodoksai Vishnu, or Kirodoksai Vishnu. So, one portion of his plenary portion, he is within the material world. A material world means within the universe. Annantarastham, Annam Brahmanda means this universe. This is not only one universe, but there are many millions of universes. So he is there. Advaita Achyuti Anadi Ananta Rupam. And Annantarastham, he is within the universe. Annantarastham Paramanuchayantarastham, and he is within the atoms. Just imagine expansion of God. So Advaita Achyuti Anadi Ananta Rupam Adang Purana Purusang Navajauvanaj. Although he is the oldest of all, you will find Krishna always a young man. From his face you will find a young boy, 22, 25 years. Navajauvanaj. Vedeshu Durlabha. If you want to search out God by studying Vedas, it will be very difficult. Adurlabha Atma Bhakto, but he is very easily available from his devotee. This is the description. Then in another place, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitavi Stavi Ja Eva Nijarupa Taya Kalabhi Goloko Eva Nivasati Akhilatma Bhuto. The Lord, everything is not material. That is Satchidananda Vigraha. Krishna is Satchidananda Vigraha. His form is eternity, blissful and full of knowledge. So, all his paraphernalia in the Goloka Vrindavan, that is his expansion of that quality, eternity, blissfulness and knowledge. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavita. His gopis, his consorts, his father, his mother, his friends, his trees, his flowers, his cups and cows, everything is spiritual expansion from him. We are also expansion from him. We are marginal potency, and this is spiritual potency. So, everything is expansion. Therefore, the Vedic literature says, Sarvam Khalidam Brahma. Everything is Brahma. We are now combination of two energies, marginal energy and the external energy. But in the spiritual world, everything is only spiritual energy. So we are constitutionally spiritual energy. Somehow or other, we have been entangled with this material energy. So if we try in this human form of life, we can get out of this material energy and again go back to the spiritual energy. That is the opportunity. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavita Bhi Jo Evo Nija Rupa Tayakala. Another sloka I wish to explain. Angani Jasya Sakalendriya Vittimanti. The spiritual body is equally qualified for doing everything. Just like with our hand, we can touch on it. We cannot do, or we can pick up something. But by simply having hand, or with the hand we cannot eat. For eating, we shall to use this mouth. We have to use the stomach. But in the spiritual world, Krishna, about him is described, Angani Jasya Sakalendriya Vittimanti. Each and every limb of Krishna has got the potency of other limbs. He can eat by his eyes. He can hear from his eyes. Anything, all the parts of the leg. Because they are spiritual, you can use it for any purpose. This is not understandable in this material condition of life, but it is possible. When it is spiritually realized, it is possible. These things are there. Angani jasya sakalendriya vittimanti pasyanti panti kalayanti chirang jaganti ananda chinmaya sadhu jala vigrahasya govindamadi purusam tamaham bhajami. So his spiritual world, his planet is described that Chintamani prakara sadmasu kalpa vrikkha lakha britesu surabhi ravipalayantam. In his planet there are many trees, many palaces, but they are all spiritual. Chintamani means spiritual. The houses, they are made of touchstone. Just like here the houses are made of bricks and wood. There the houses are also spiritual. The touchstone, it is described in the Shastra. If there is any touchstone in this material world, the touchstone can turn the iron into gold. There are houses also, big palaces, like here. Chintamani prakara sadamasu kalpabrikha. The trees are kalpabrikha. Kalpabrikha means here you can get fruit, one kind of fruit from one tree. But there, any fruit you want, you can get any tree. That is spiritual. Prakara sadmasu kalpabrikha. Kalpabrikha means that. And surabhi ravipalayantam. Krishna is very much fond of tending cows. And what are those cows? Surabhi. Surabhi means you can take as much milk as you like and as many times as you like. Here in this material world, you have got cows, but you can take milk, limited quantity, and also once or twice. That is the difference. In this way, if you read Brahma Samhita, you will get complete description of the spiritual world, the spiritual entities, the Supreme Lord, His associates, His country, His pastimes, everything very nicely described. And if we become attached to such place, then we can try. We can prepare ourselves for going back to home, back to Godhead. That is the perfection of life. That is the mission of Krishna consciousness movement. Thank you very much. Yeah.
The following is a class on the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 15th chapter, text number 27, given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on December 3rd, 1973, in Los Angeles.
Translation. Now I am attracted to those instructions imparted to me by the Personality of Godhead, Govinda, because they are impregnated with instructions for relieving the burning heart in all circumstances of time and space.
Just like we have no knowledge of Krishna, conditioned soul, therefore, for our understanding, He is so merciful, He descends as Archamurti. This deity which we are worshipping, that is called Archavatar, incarnation of Archa. He is accepting our worship, our prayer, our everything. He has descended just suitable for our handling. That is His mercy. Therefore we should not consider that this Archa, Krishna, is made of stone. As atheists will say that these foolish persons are worshipping heathens, they are worshipping. No, we are not worshipping stone, we are worshipping Krishna, but that they do not know. Krishna has appeared before us because at the present moment we cannot see except stone and wood. Therefore, suitable for our vision, he has appeared in such a way. Otherwise, how we can appreciate? Here, they are searching after what is God, but here is God. Here is God. Therefore, in the Shastra it is forbidden, Archa, Archi, Vishnu, Siladhi, Gurusu, Naramati, Vaishnavi, Jati, Buddhi. It is forbidden that when you worship deity, you should not think that it is made of wood or stone or something else, material. No. What is this material? Material is, matter means the energy of Krishna. Just like the sunshine, this or like the illumination of this light, it is the energy of the lamp. So it is not different. Similarly, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhumi, Rapo, Nalo, Vayu, this earth, water, air, fire, anything material, that is expansion of his energy. So he can accept your service through his energy. That is his omnipotency. That is called omnipotence. You cannot do anything, your personal affairs with your energy. But you can sometimes do. Suppose if you have got money, even being present on the spot, by spending money you can get the things done. The money will act for you. Similarly, Krishna being omnipotent, he can take your service through his agency, through his potency. And potency means Shakti. Shakti, Shaktimato Abheda. Krishna and his potency is not different. So, Krishna by his causeless mercy, he has appeared before you in a manner by which you can touch him, you can handle him, you can dress him, you can give him. This is Krishna's mercy. It is not idol mercy. Therefore it is forbidden. Don't think it is idol. God.
Bhagavad Gita, or any authentic scriptural sound representation of the Lord, is also the incarnation of the Lord. There is no difference between the sound representation of the Lord and the Lord himself. One can derive the same benefit from the Bhagavad Gita as Arjuna did in the personal presence of the Lord.
You can derive the same benefit as Arjuna by reading Bhagavad Gita. People say that Arjuna was enlightened because Krishna was present before him. But Krishna is present before you also, by his words, by his sound representation. Just like Hare Krishna mantra, Krishna's name, it is not different from Krishna. Now, abhinnatyad nama namina. Nami, here in the material world, the name and the person whose name, that is different, because it is material. If you want water, this water is substance, or water is different from the name one. You cannot quench your thirst simply by chanting water, water. That is not possible, because it is material. But you can realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead by chanting Hare Krishna mantra. That is the significance of spiritual and material. Otherwise, how people are satisfied simply by chanting Hare Krishna mantra? Let him chant some other name, material. No, he cannot chant more than 3 times. Then he will feel tired. But you can go on chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra for hundreds and millions of years. It still will not feel tired. That is the difference. Therefore, his name and he is not different. Abhinnatta Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Suddha Nitya Mukta Abhinnatyat Nama Namina. This is the Shastric injunction. Nama, the holy name of Sri Chaitanya, Krishna, is abhinna, not different from Krishna. Namachinta, Purna Suddha, full, complete, not that little less, no. Full, Purna, Suddha, and uncontaminated. Just like Krishna is uncontaminated. Similarly, his name is also uncontaminated. Purna Suddha Nitya, eternal. As Krishna is eternal, name is also eternal. Purna Suddha Nitya Mukta, Avinnata, because they are not different one with another. So, the most important word is Desha Kalartha Juktani. Desha, time and space. Bhagavad Gita is because not different from Krishna. As Krishna is everywhere, similarly Bhagavad Gita can be appreciated in every country, every season, every circumstances. That is Desha Kala Artha Juktani. Then Hittapo Upasamani cha. Hittapo. There is a hittapa. Hit means heart. And tapa means, real meaning is temperature. Or temperature if you take, just like Agni Tapa. Agni means fire, and Tapa it has got temperature. So to a certain degree you can tolerate. But when the degree, just like in India we have got temperature in summer season, 120 degrees. Here, just like in your country, the temperature is less. In other country, the temperature in the Middle East, the temperature is 135 degrees, Arabian countries. There are three tapas, three kinds of miserable conditions, this material world. That also can be taken, tapa. Tapa means suffering, excessive heat and cold, that is called tapa. So, Hityapa Upasamanicha, the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, we are suffering always within the heart. As Narottam Das Thakur says, that Vishaya Vishanale Divanisi Hiya Jole. Vishaya means this material enjoyment. It is just like poison. The more we are entangled in material enjoyment, there is no enjoyment, it is suffering. But we are taking suffering as enjoyment. Just like in this winter season, we cover ourselves very nicely with gloves, with overcoat. It is simply counteracting the suffering. But a man who has got a nice overcoat and gloves, he is thinking he is enjoying. This is man. He forgets that he is simply trying to counteract the suffering. Actually he is suffering. But having a nice coat or nice place, he is thinking that he is enjoying. That is foolishness. That is called Maya. There is no enjoyment in this material. Simply you are trying to counteract the suffering. This counteraction of suffering we are accepting as enjoyment. So, this material world means you must suffer. That is the position of the material. Why, otherwise, why you have come to material? Just like in the prison life, how you can expect enjoyment there? But a man, suppose a big politician is put into the jail and is given a very nice, comfortable bungalow and everything, but he is in the jail. But he is thinking that I am enjoying. He forgets that he is in the jail. He is in the jail. That is called ignorance, Maya. He is suffering and is accepting. It's like the pig He is eating stool, but he is thinking he is enjoying. This is going on. So Hityapa, in this, I mean to say, ocean of suffering, Vijaya Vishanale Dibali, the more we want to enjoy, the more sufferings enter. More suffering. You can understand that now we got this car, horseless car, but now there is a problem. They are thinking if there is no petrol available, then what will happen? So this is material existence. Vishaya, Vishanali, Divarsi, anxiety. That anxiety is suffering. What will happen? What will happen? That is material existence. Sada samadabhigna dhiya. Always full of anxieties. This is material life. So, Narottam Das Thakur says that Vishaya Vishanale Divanisi Hiya Jolly. The heart is burning on account of this material existence. Toribare na koinu upar. But I did not try to find out the means by which I can get out of this. Golokero premadhana harinama sankirtana rotina janmila kanata. The medicine is this Hari, Krishna, Krishna's teachings, Krishna's name, Krishna's glorification. That is the real medicine. But we have no attraction for these things. We are simply trying to counteract the suffering. And we are accepting this counteraction as enjoy. The Bhagavad Gita, Haranti Smaratas Chittam. So, actually, if we want to enjoy life, then we should take the instruction of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, we shall chant Hare Krishna mantra. That will give us relief from the blazing fire. Samsara dava nalalila loka. Tranaya karunya ghanaghanatva. This is the only way. Otherwise, so when Arjuna was too much perturbed by absence of Krishna, he was simply remembering the instruction of Krishna, which he received in the battle of Kurukshetra. Thank you.
The following is a class on the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, 7th chapter, text number 3, given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on the 3rd of March, 1974, in Mayapur, India.
Radhanathanitang Tvang Sadivam Sadaitam Jaya Radha Madhava Punya vadanti tat tattavidam statyam jadgyanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti sabdat. Knowledge means tattva-gyan, to know the absolute truth. In the Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna says that manusyanam sahasreshu kaschid jatati siddhaye jatatam visiddhanam kaschid vetimam tattata. Everything should be understood in truth. So, this Krishna consciousness movement is trying to understand the absolute truth. So, in another place, Krishna says, Janma karma me dibbam janati tatat. Anyone who understands the absolute truth, actually, as he is, not by mental speculation, but by the parampara system. So, therefore, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, he is beginning with Guru, Pudbe Gurvadi. Beginning is the Guru, the spiritual master, because he is representative of the parampara system, disciplic succession. Therefore, whatever we do, we must first of all try to understand from Guru. Srila Rupa Goswami also says in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Ado Gurbasrayam. The beginning of spiritual life is to accept the bona fide spiritual master. Sadharma Prichya, then inquiry from the spiritual master. The approach should be by full surrender. Tadvidhi pranipatena tattam atadvidhi. By pranipatena, prakishta rupena nipat. Just like we have learned how to offer obeisances to the spiritual master, to the gurus, falling down flat, pranipat, no reservation, falling flat. That is called pranipat. So, one has to approach the spiritual master. That is the Vedic injunction. Tat vijnanatham. Tat means tattva. In order to understand the tattva vastu absolute truth, vijnan. Vijnan means practical science, not theoretical. Theoretical is gyan. When that is practically applied in life, that is called vijnana. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, therefore, the statement is there, Jnanam me paramam guhyam jad vijnana samannitam. Jnana and vijnana. We are very much proud of seeing things. Somebody says, can you show me God? But just try to understand what is the power of our eyes. Now there is no light, so our seeing power is vanished. In this way, all the powers of our senses are conditional. Under certain condition we can see, under certain condition we can hear. Therefore, at the present moment, our life is conditional. We act, we see, we walk, we hear, we smell, we touch under certain condition. Just like I got my eyes, because my sight power is less, so I take the condition of a glass and try to see. Similarly, this material condition is like that. Spiritually, we have got the power of seeing, the power of hearing, the power of speaking, power of touching, power of smelling. But because we are covered by this material body, all these powers have become conditional, not absolute. So those who are inquisitive to understand the absolute light or spiritual light, he must accept a guru. Therefore Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Purve, in the beginning, Acharyavan Purusha Veda. If we actually are serious to understand the absolute truth, then one must have the shelter of Acharya. Acharya Ban. This Ban word is used when one possesses. Astarthe Batu Pratta. So, when one possesses the shelter of Acharya, then his knowledge is perfect. So, the beginning of spiritual life, Adu Gudbasra, that is the beginning. Every Shastra, every Vedic scripture, just like Krishna, he is the original spiritual master. Tene Brahma Rida Adi Kave. Jo, Brahma. Brahma is the first living creature within this universe. So he was also enlightened and educated by the Supreme Lord. Not that because he is Brahma, he is independent. Nobody is independent. Knowledge must be received from the authority. And the supreme authority is Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So here Chaitanya Charitamrita is the teachings of Lord Chaitanya and his life, practical life. He is Krishna and he is personally speaking. Krishna first of all spoke about himself in the Bhagavad Gita. But foolish persons, mudha, apajandananti manga mudha manusim tanumasita. So, Krishna was misunderstood. Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam braja. People misunderstood. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his high opulences, he himself, his expansion, his incarnation, his energy, personal energy and marginal energy. There is no association of the external energy. As it is said here, that Guru Tattva kahiyachi ebe pancher vichar. Guru Tattva is also along with him. He is also representative of the Supreme Lord. Acharya mang bijanya. So, that Guru Tattva has been explained by the author Kaviraj Goswami in 5 chapters, in 6 chapters. And the 7th chapter, he is describing the 5 tattvas. Isha Prakash, Nityananda Prabhu is the direct manifestation of the Supreme Lord, Krishna. Brajendra Nandana Jai Sachishita Hailo Sei, Balaram Hailo Nita. So Nityananda Prabhu is the first expansion of Lord Krishna or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahe Anna. When you speak of Sri Krishna Chaitanya, you should understand immediately that he is Krishna in Radha's attitude, Radha Bhava. Krishna, Radha and Krishna, they are one, they are not different. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikiti Alladini Shakti Asma. Radharani is expansion of Krishna's pleasure potency. So, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. But Krishna, in order to understand himself, he took the position of Radharani to understand himself. Personally, he could not understand his potencies. But when he appeared as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the attitude of Radharani's love for Krishna, then he could fully understand him.